Well, it's Friday. It's Friday. Not only is it Friday, it's 2 days before Christmas. Happy Friday. Happy December 23rd. I'm Steve Casillo. It's time for another episode of the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. And as we do every Friday, we bring in our guest. That would be Phillip Washington Jr. Say hello to the audience.
Hey, audience. Merry Christmas. Merry early Christmas.
And Phillip, even though he's the split screen right now, even though he's over there on the other side of the screen, he's actually right here in the studio. He's off to my left, and so we do this every Friday. We talk about financial stuff, but not your typical financial stuff, because you tend to bring a little bit of a metaphysical aura to the topics that as we've talked about before, and we call you the financial philosopher.
I go straight to the heart of the issue.
Yeah.
Literally. Hey, side note, you want to know a funny story real quick before we
Talk
begin?
to me.
About New Year's Eve. So I don't drink eggnog anymore. So
I never started drinking eggnog, so
yes. So it used to taste amazing, but I'm lactose intolerant,
Mm-hmm.
or at least I was lactose intolerant, and so we made these eggnog drinks that were just amazing. And well, I guess in drinking it, I forgot that I was lactose intolerant, that I can only take it in doses.
Uh-huh.
And so it jacked up my Christmas. And one Christmas Eve, me and my father-in-law and brother-in-law were just down in eggnog drinks, and that was not great for somebody who's lactose intolerant. So needless to say, not great memories. So I don't drink eggnog anymore.
You cleared the room. Well, okay, never mind. Today's topic, unblocking creative genius. And you know what? I've just teed it up. What are we talking about?
So when we're applying it to money, because whenever people think of creative genius in art, and that might be music. They also think about it too. We call it flow state in sports, But when it comes to making money, I think some people don't think about having creative genius and making money, right? And there's lots of creative genius. Like, you have to have creative genius to bring some new idea, some new economy, some new concept into the world, or iterate on an existing concept. But in order to create wealth, you have to create more. People think wealth is a limited resource. They think that, for there to be more money, you got to take it from somebody. Well, no. Like, if you look at the wealth of the world, like, it's expanded, like, since the beginning of time, and there's no like Martians dropping off money onto onto the earth.
It would be nice if they did. Yeah,
it would be pretty cool. But it comes through creativity. And
so the flow state, would that be what I, as a musician, would say being in the zone?
Absolutely.
That when you go to a concert or you're watching a YouTube video and you go, oh my gosh, this guitar player or this keyboard player just did this amazing solo. And it's because he was in the zone. He probably could have done it blindfolded, because there's a point where I call it the alpha and the beta of thinking. Alpha is really where you are using your brain to, and the other part of it is the creative side, where you just turn your brain off and you play from the heart, and
surrendered to the music, right?
Yeah, exactly. Being in the zone, or as you called it, flow state.
Yeah, and so a lot of times when it comes to money or business, right, we want to think our way to creativity. I'm going to think my way to creativity, right? That's why you have a lot of uncreative nerds, because like whenever you think, like people say, oh, we created electricity. No, we discovered electricity, right?
Yeah.
Math only reveals how things work, but it didn't. Like, things have always worked. Like, there's a principle behind it that makes them work. Like thinking just reveals what works. Creativity is not a different part of the brain. So when it comes to making money, for example, it's the same thing. You surrender to the power of creativity. But let me give a real example, because when we use music, I'm pretty sure you see this, Steve, and you said it. Or let me use a different story. When I was younger, my cousin was trying to teach me how to dance, and I was a thinker, and so I was trying to think my way into my moves, and he was like, "Listen, man, you can't dance and think. You got, like you said, turn your brain off. You got to surrender to the rhythm." Same rules apply with money. Like when you're trying to, if you want to make more money, you have to first like relax. He would say, "Relax, just relax, right? Surrender." And so if you're in a financial position and you're only focused on like what's here right now, right? Maybe it's the money you make, maybe it's debt you might have, maybe it is like your present state, whether you like it or not. Like if you want to expand, right? Then if your focus is only on, or your awareness is only on the present, you're just going to keep recreating what you already have, right? Yeah. Even worse, if you focus on like things you fear, then you're going to subtract what you have. And so what you want to do is place your attention and your awareness, right, on what you want, and then keep it there, because that, and you do it in a good feeling state, and then you begin to change your circumstance. There's no way to focus on like what you don't want and bring it.
Well, you had mentioned in your podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple, that let's just say the average person fears debt, yet the business owner they embrace debt because they use it to their advantage.
So I'm gonna come back to that. Let me iterate what I'm saying, and
all right.
It'll tie right into that. So to put yourself intentionally in flow state. Sometimes we get in flow state on accident, but the way to get there intentionally is to, it's the Trinity, right? All spiritual talk about the Trinity, but it's your feelings, your attention, and your dream have to line up. If they're not in harmony, then you can't enter the flow state. And so where you place your attention is what you create. So going to the debt thing, right? So before, if you're in the middle class or lower middle class, your awareness, right? Your awareness of debt is negative for most people, because you either had parents who were in a lot of debt, you had debt, right? I know me growing up, I tend to think of debt as like bad, especially if you listen to Dave Ramsey, who he's, the guru for middle and lower middle class households. Like debt bad. He hates debt.
Right.
And so what you first got to do is, if you talk to somebody who's rich and has money, like debt's like water. So their awareness of debt is completely different, right? Debt is a tool to build wealth if used responsibly. So in that example, you need to change your awareness of debt, which changing your awareness of debt changes your feeling of debt, right? And then opens you up to the thoughts, ideas that will allow you to use debt responsibly, right? In a good way. But it puts, and I want to simplify it, it puts you in a flow state to understand debt at a whole different level, and then use it to creatively expand your wealth appropriately without fear. But what's important, and I said on my previous podcast, if you just intellectually understand what I just said,
yeah,
but you don't feel, you're still afraid of debt, your feelings don't come with you, you're not in the flow state, because then you're going to take on debt, and then you're going to blow up, because you never carried your feeling with you. So the feeling of fear like just blows up everything, right? You have to make sure. So if you still fear debt, don't take it on. The next example, right? Get in the state, feel positive about it, not intellectually, right? Feel it. And if you don't feel it, just wait, right? You got time, right? Wait till you feel good. But once you feel the way whether you feel about debt, not intellectually, feeling, in your knowing, right? That's what knowing really means. Knowing is feeling it, right? Because it's like you can talk, you can, what Mike Tyson say? My famous quote.
Oh, pick me.
Go ahead. What's the famous quote?
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right. Until you felt that feeling, you have no clue.
And The first time you said that, which was probably, the first time I heard it came from you, probably well over a year ago. I wrote it down. I don't write down many things that you say, but this was one thing I wrote down, and I've used it many, many times. Yeah, it's a great quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great way to change your mindset that, okay, yeah, I've got this plan, but all of a sudden, boom. Things change.
You got to put them all in harmony. But that's how you get in flow state. Getting your feelings and your awareness to line up and keeping your attention on the dream you have in your mind with good feelings. It comes over time. And then you open up this is how you see things like Bitcoin. One thing I talk about a lot of times is nuclear, where nuclear is going.
Yeah.
Like these are things that that are available to the public and that are out there, but there are things in my portfolio that people won't really appreciate the importance of it until maybe a decade from now. But my clients who have been investing with me, I'm sending them articles of because we bought it a couple years ago, and I'm like, and they're like, oh, things lining up behind the scene. Like the stock price is what it is, right? As people growing, as the world grows in their awareness of what we're talking about, the price changes. But I'm sending them articles of, remember when I bought this and I was saying this is the future? I'm sending them, and they're like, oh, behind the scenes, it's all lining up. And then there will be a point where the world wakes up, and then they go, oh, let me jump on that, and that's when the price will sing. But it was being in the flow state, being in the state of awareness of how the world was changing, feeling optimistic about the future, right? Placing my attention only on the optimism, turning off the negative news and people that don't know what they're talking about, right? So that I can continue to receive, right, those ideas, those thoughts, those inspirations, be in tune with what's going on in the world. And people who are negative, you're just not going to hear what I'm saying right now. But people who are feeling good, you'll see it. So my recommendation is if you don't feel good, pause it, turn this off, go think about your grandkids, your kids, go take a nature walk, come back, listen, and you'll fully hear what I'm saying.
Or go meditate.
Go meditate. Meditate is the best way to train your attention and your feeling state.
If someone wanted to reach out to Phillip Washington Jr. to get themselves into the zone, into the flow state, how do they reach out to you?
The best way is stonehillwealthmanagement.com. That's stonehillwealthmanagement.com.
Phillip, we're 2 days away. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and we'll see you after Christmas.
Merry Christmas as well. And I feel the need to give a disclaimer before I go, Steve, because I got a little bit excited. This is not seek your own thoughts and ideas and do your own work before making any investment decisions. Investing involves risk. Blah 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 blah.
And these episodes are for entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you again. Merry Christmas. We'll see you between Christmas and New Year's. We do this every Friday, and let's do it again next week.
Thanks, Steve.